How many times have you dealt with negative and toxic people? Have you ever felt uncomfortable after meeting a certain person, as if his negativity had poisoned your soul, draining your energy and joy? And have you ever wondered how to defend yourself from these people who threaten your inner peace? Maybe you've tried to avoid them, but sometimes it's impossible. Or you tried to confront them, but you got caught in their traps of lies and manipulation. What if I told you that there is a way to unmask them and defend yourself from them effectively? Stay until the end of this video because thanks to the Zen story you will listen to, you will discover the 5 secret moves taught by an ancient Zen master to protect yourself from bad people and cultivate your inner light. Get ready for a fascinating journey to discover the strength that resides within you. Eventually, you will know how to defend yourself and find your emotional balance and mental well-being. But before continuing, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so that you are informed when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. In the shade of an ancient ginkgo biloba, while the sun painted the tiles of the ancient monastery red, the old monk Kita, with his face furrowed by wrinkles of wisdom, gathered his disciples for a new lesson. Life, my dears, he began in a calm voice, is a winding path full of encounters and challenges. Not everyone we meet will be kind souls. There are, in fact, bad people whose darkness can poison our souls. A shiver of anxiety ran down the disciples' backs as they thought about the many occasions on which they had had similar encounters. How could one recognize an evil soul? How can we defend ourselves from its harmful influence? They asked their mentor. Kita, his gaze shining with an ancient light, invited them to come closer. Bad people, he whispered, are like beings who crawl in the shadows. They don't fear the light because their existence feeds on darkness. But we, warriors of light, can unmask them and defend ourselves in 5 moves. In this way, we will be able to continue our spiritual and life journey in a peaceful way. While the disciples listened carefully to the monk's words, Kita began to talk about the first move, listening to one's inner silence or one's intuition. Imagine your inner silence as a placid lake, Kita explained. When you find yourself in front of someone, immerse yourself in this lake and listen to the whispers of your soul. If you feel a sense of uneasiness, like a wave rippling the surface of the lake, it is likely that you are dealing with an evil spirit. One day, a young disciple named Aiko found herself at the market. An affable-looking man approached her, offering her a jewel of rare beauty at a paltry price. Aiko, despite being attracted by the jewel, felt a sense of uneasiness tightening in her stomach. Listening to his inner silence, he decided to refuse the offer and walk away from the man. Later, he discovered that the man was a scammer who lured his victims with false promises. In the nearby villages, they knew him very well, because with his scams, he had ruined the lives of many people. Bad people, the monk continued, have behavior that betrays them. They are often manipulative, liars, and aggressive. They try to get what they want by using control, fear, or lies. Therefore, pay close attention to the way they behave towards you and others. If you notice incorrect or mean attitudes, stay away from them because you could fall victim to their manipulations. Regarding this move, Keita gave the example of a man who was working on an important project when a colleague began criticizing him and belittling his work. Ken, this is the man's name, noticed that his colleague was envious of his success and was trying to sabotage it. Over time, his colleague's behavior became increasingly aggressive, and Ken decided to talk to his superiors about it. His superior, knowing his seriousness and his skills, advised him to remain calm and not to be intimidated, but to document any incorrect behavior of his colleague to protect himself. Every human being, Kiva continued, exudes his own energy. Bad people with their negativity can contaminate our energy field, causing us discomfort and suffering. To defend ourselves from these people and their negative aura, it is important to create an imaginary barrier of protection by visualizing a white light that envelops us. In this way, darkness will not be able to penetrate and our inner balance will remain intact. It is, of course, a spiritual and motivational exercise through which to protect yourself. I remember a disciple named May who was going through a difficult time. She felt sad and vulnerable, and this made her more susceptible to the negative influence of bad people. One day during a meditation, Mai visualized a white light enveloping and protecting her. From that day, she felt stronger and able to reject the negativity that surrounded her. Thus, the bad people she met on her way couldn't scratch the armor she had managed to build around herself. Mai, over time, became a strong and self-confident woman. Time is the best judge, Keita stated, introducing another important move that everyone should follow to defend themselves from negative people. Bad people often wear masks of hypocrisy, showing a false face to the world, but with time, their true nature will come to the surface. It's just a matter of time. To clarify this point, the monk took hold of a man named Roberto who was constantly competing with a colleague for a promotion. The colleague, driven by envy, began to spread slander and falsehoods about him, but Roberto, aware of the falsity of those accusations, remained calm and patient. And over time, the truth emerged, and while Roberto got the promotion he deserved, the colleague who had tried in every way to discredit him in everyone's eyes was removed from the company. Compassion, the monk continued, is not just a feeling, but a powerful force that can disarm even the hardest heart. And that's the next move I want to tell you about. Having compassion for bad people does not mean justifying their actions, but rather recognizing their internal suffering. Compassion, in essence, allows us to maintain an attitude of equanimity and not be overwhelmed by anger or hatred. Because, always remember, the people we define as bad are often bad because they have so much pain inside them, and pain mixed with frustration often hardens people's hearts. In the village school, the monk said, there was a child named Teiko. This child was often bullied by some of his classmates. One day, Teiko, following her teacher's teachings, decided to feel compassion for her bullies. And so, instead of getting angry, he tried to understand their reasons and help them overcome their internal anger. Over time, the bullies' behavior changed, and they began to treat Teiko with respect. Think, dear disciples, that some of those bullies became the child's best friends. Have you understood? Thanks to this example, the power of compassion, the monk asked everyone present. Compassion, he added, can move mountains and lead to unimaginable results. Keita's disciples listened in silence, absorbing their master's every word. Their minds were illuminated by a new awareness. Now they knew how to recognize bad people and how to defend themselves from their evil influence. And they knew that the people we think are bad aren't always bad in the true sense of the word. In most cases, these are individuals who carry a baggage of suffering, sadness, and frustration. Therefore, often defending ourselves from people we define as bad can coincide with helping them to come out of the pain in which they are floundering. But what does this story teach us? That wickedness exists, but that we can defend ourselves from it with awareness, firmness, compassion, and patience. And the 5 moves taught by the Master to his disciples are precious tools that help us to recognize bad people, to defend ourselves from their harmful influence, and to cultivate compassion for their internal suffering. Let us remember that true strength lies in the light we carry within us. It is with our light that we can illuminate the darkness and defeat the darkness that could envelop us.